The sound of a ceramic cup shattering across the cafe floor cut through the morning chatter like a gunshot. Coffee splashed across the polished tiles, and the entire room froze. A blind waitress stood trembling at the center of the mess, her dark glasses hiding her eyes but not the fear on her face. Towering over her was a sharply dressed wealthy man in an expensive suit, his face twisted with rage as he pointed a finger inches from her face. The tension in the room felt unbearable, until a single father quietly stood up from his table and stepped forward. Before we continue this emotional story, take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who believes in kindness, and subscribe to the channel if you believe that even small acts of courage can change lives. The cafe was filled with the warm scent of fresh bread and roasted coffee beans, but the atmosphere had turned cold in seconds. The blind waitress, Emily, had been carrying a tray when she accidentally brushed against the rich customer's chair. The tray tilted, the cup fell, and the coffee spilled across the floor. It was a small accident, something that could happen to anyone. But the wealthy man treated it as if she had ruined his entire day. His voice thundered through the cafe as he scolded her mercilessly. People around the room looked away, uncomfortable but unwilling to get involved. Emily stood there apologizing repeatedly, her hands shaking as she tried to kneel down and clean the mess. She couldn't see where the coffee had spilled, and every movement she made only seemed to make things worse. At a nearby table sat Daniel Carter, a 35-year-old single father who had come to the cafe with his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Daniel had spent most of his life working construction jobs, raising Lily alone after losing his wife years earlier. Life had not been easy for him, but one thing he had always taught his daughter was simple: kindness mattered more than money or status. As Daniel watched the rich customer continue humiliating the blind waitress, something inside him tightened. Lily looked up at him with wide eyes, silently asking the question children often ask without words: is someone going to help her? Daniel slowly stood up. He walked toward the scene, his boots echoing softly on the floor. The rich customer was still shouting, his anger growing louder with every second. But when Daniel stepped between him and Emily, the room fell quiet again. Daniel didn't raise his voice. He simply placed himself there like a wall. He told the man calmly that the waitress had already apologized and that yelling at someone who couldn't even see the mess she made wasn't strength, it was cruelty. The words were simple, but they carried a quiet authority that surprised everyone in the room. The rich customer laughed mockingly. He looked Daniel up and down, noticing the worn jacket, the calloused hands, the construction boots. To him, Daniel looked like just another poor man trying to play hero. The wealthy man sneered and told Daniel to mind his own business, reminding him that people like him didn't belong in arguments with people like him. But Daniel didn't move. He simply knelt down beside Emily and began helping her clean the spilled coffee. Lily joined him, carefully handing napkins to the blind waitress. The moment was small, but powerful. For the first time since the accident happened, Emily stopped trembling. She could feel that someone was finally on her side. The rich customer scoffed, tossed a few bills onto the table, and stormed out of the cafe with an angry glare. The door slammed behind him, leaving a heavy silence in the room. Slowly, the cafe returned to life. Daniel helped Emily stand up, making sure she was okay. She thanked him quietly, her voice filled with emotion. Daniel simply smiled and told her that no one deserved to be treated that way. Then he returned to his table with Lily as if nothing extraordinary had happened. But something strange began to unfold. A few minutes later, the cafe manager rushed into the room looking extremely nervous. He had heard about the confrontation and immediately approached Emily with deep concern, asking if she was all right. What happened next shocked everyone. Emily removed her dark glasses for a moment and turned toward the manager, her posture suddenly calm and confident. The entire cafe watched as the manager spoke to her with an unusual level of respect, almost like he was speaking to his boss. Because he was. Emily wasn't just a waitress. She was the owner of the restaurant. Years earlier, Emily had inherited the café from her parents. Instead of running it from an office, she chose to work among her employees to understand their struggles and ensure customers were treated with warmth. Very few people knew the truth about her identity, and she preferred it that way. The accident had simply been part of her daily work. But the way people reacted to it revealed far more about them. Emily quietly asked the manager about the rich customer who had just left. She listened carefully as the manager described the incident. Then she nodded calmly and asked him to permanently ban the man from the restaurant. The room buzzed with whispers. But Emily wasn't focused on punishment. She was looking for Daniel. She slowly walked across the cafe toward his table. Daniel looked confused when she stopped beside him. Emily thanked him again, this time with deeper sincerity. She explained that kindness like his was rare, especially when someone had nothing to gain. Most people in the cafe had watched silently, but he had chosen to act. Daniel shrugged modestly. To him, it had simply been the right thing to do. But Emily saw something more. She saw a father teaching his daughter courage. She saw a man who had probably faced his own struggles but still found room in his heart to defend someone else. That kind of character was priceless. Weeks passed after that morning, and Daniel thought little about the incident. Life returned to its normal rhythm of long workdays and caring for Lily. Then one afternoon, Daniel received an unexpected call. Emily had a proposition. She had been searching for someone trustworthy to manage the café's community programs and staff welfare. After witnessing Daniel's integrity that day, she believed he was the perfect person for the role. The job would provide stability, better hours, and enough income for Daniel to spend more time with Lily. For the first time in years, Daniel felt hope opening a new door in his life. And Lily never forgot the lesson she witnessed that day, that standing up for someone who is vulnerable can change more lives than we realize. Before we finish, here's a special request for you. Comment the word kindness if you believe one brave act can change someone's life forever. Daniel had only defended a blind waitress from a cruel customer. He had no idea she owned the restaurant. But the truth is, kindness doesn't wait for rewards. It simply appears in moments when someone needs it the most. And sometimes, those small moments end up changing everything. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it with someone who believes in compassion, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this. Your support helps these messages of kindness reach more people around the world. Red Heart.